Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I hit record. I named this title of the stream exactly 2 hours of reading. And what I mean by that is I have exactly 2 hours of time since I hit record, which was 15 seconds ago, to give to the stream tonight at max. I have been warned by a birdie. Not a little birdie. I have quite a medium-sized birdie, I would say. That we are approaching either. I don't know if it's this stream. It was kind of iffy, but it was basically a word of warning that there's going to be at some point here or multiple points or something in Chapter 8 where we're not going to get really easily clean-cuttable sections as we have been doing most throughout the series. So I'm just going to have to pick... Again, go to the old tried and true, back to the Umineko days of just like pick a spot to end. So I have at most 2 hours to give to the stream tonight because I also have some stuff happening later tonight. And I've yet to eat because I skipped that to do that later tonight as well. So... reading on an empty stomach here. Wow, big surprise. So yeah, I don't know if that happens tonight. I don't know if it could be that we read for an hour and a half and then we get to a natural ending and we're totally fine and I'm not going to read to 2 hours. But if it does go longer than that, we're just going to have to pick a time before I hit 2 hours. If the timer starts showing 1:55 or something, then we start hitting the panic button, yeah? It'll be a fun game to play along as if you're watching the YouTube VOD as well. Because if you start to see the time bar approach that 2 hour section, I'm swearing by this 2 hour thing. I will do the most awkward of pauses or cliffhangers if needed. But just know that if you're watching the YouTube VOD and you just were 1 hour 55, 1 hour 56, 1 hour 57, you can't see my face, but just know that there's pure panic behind the computer, trying to pick a spot to end the reading. Very quick recap here for where we were at. We basically, I guess for all intents and purposes, finished the prologue here to Chapter 8, which was a quite sizable one. It was a lot of the backstory to Takano, blonde, aka, may she never lose this nickname, blonde-haired lady here on the channel. A lot of younger Takano, how she was in the orphanage section, how she then was adopted, how she gives reason as to why she wants to carry on who she called her grandfather's legacy, even though it's not her blood grandfather, why she's doing the way she's doing, how she has this drive to do this, why she views herself the way she views herself, and why it's so important to her that she, for, whether it's good or bad, however you want to argue it, why she views she has to ascend to the status of a god, but also her grandfather, again, person she was calling a grandfather, put his name, have his name post-mortem ascend to kind of like god status as well, because she saw what she thought was completely disrespected when she was a kid, someone she truly loved, right? But we also saw a quick glimpse of the reason why her grandfather's research was killed, essentially. Not the grandfather was killed, but we saw why his research was killed or not funded or not sponsored. There was a quick little blip, if I remember correctly, last stream, where it was the powers that be were kind of like, hey, we can't have... There's a higher... I don't want to say a higher power, but there was a stronger power, a higher power force up above that was like, we can't be funding this kind of research kind of thing. And so if I understood that situation correctly, that was then where they were basically told, hey, we can't be doing this. And then that's why the grandfather was told early on, hey, these people are really interested, but then when the in-person meeting happened, they didn't seem interested at all, and actually, as maybe the grandfather took it, but definitely, importantly, Takano took it, grandfather was insulted even. Not only did they not choose to fund it or whatever, but they insulted him. So that's kind of the overused term, her Joker moment, potentially, where she snapped probably as a younger kid, and then probably up into her now adult life, she probably was dead set on advancing the research. Yeah. Then at the very end of the last stream, it was Takano meeting with the spirit, Oishiro Sama, aka Hanyu, kind of there. They reestablished the conflict. We had a cool little, like, we're gonna stare back at each other and this is our final fight kind of thing, yada yada yada. Obviously a very hype moment, honestly. Can't stress that enough. And then title sequence, whatever you want to call it. And that's where we're at. Now with that recap, I've already cut into, let's see, 6 minutes and now 30 seconds of my max 2 hours. I would assume now, maybe incorrectly, but I'm going to assume now that we got the prologue done, I would assume we go back to what we would call maybe more of a normal cycle now. Now that the prologue is done, we have to see what it is the group here does. I assume it's going to be the group versus Takano kind of thing. I'm almost 1,000,000% convinced now that Hanyu joins the group not as a spirit being, but is taking a place amongst the chessboard that is Higurashi. Like that subtle Umineko reference, sorta, kinda, but also it's just a phrase, right? Here we go. No tips still. No tips allowed. Let's go. Oh, Tuesday Higurashi's back. I mean, it's been a while since we've done Tuesday Higurashi, isn't it? Oh, here we go. I also forgot to... Fuck. How embarrassing. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the world of Higurashi, Chapter 8. I've always had problems reading this one. Sorry, if you're like, why'd you just stop reading? I have to set a reminder on my phone. Because if I don't, I'm going to forget, because I have the world's worst memory. Okay. So, sorry about that. Welcome to the world. Oh, we're starting with, like a... what would you call this? Like a direct... Like a... I'm just gonna make up a term. Like a directorial, like... Not directorial. That's a dumb word that I made up to try to fit this. Almost like... not stage direction, though, either. It's like, it's just a... Whatever. A meta section. Welcome to the world of Higurashi Chapter 8. Matsuri Bayashi. Sure. In this world, you will be able to recreate the story from Hanyu's point of view. Oh, here we go. What do you mean I will be able to recreate? It's like I'm taking, like, they're like, hey, assemble the pieces. You've been reading this dang story for 7 chapters. It's time for you to do something. Don't be so passive. That's probably what the game is telling me, right? Although, if we go back to the Umineko, remember the non-just visual novel section of Umineko stretches, and I was actually tasked to either solve riddles or solve things, and the mixed results those were, ranging from amazing to just abysmal. If this game does that to me, we're for a bumpy ride, perhaps. In this world, you'll be able to recreate the story from Hanyu's point of view. Your objective is to create the June 1983 ideal to you. What do you mean my objective is to create the ideal? I don't like the tone this story is giving me. You will need to collect many different fragments to create that possible. However, Takano's conviction is very strong. Oh, I'll fight Takano. I'm ready to throw down hands at Takano. To overturn it, you will need a lot of effort and a lot of fragments. I can't tell if this is actually like a video game thing it's explaining to me, or if this is just like set dressing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell if this is just a thing the game is like, oh, we're setting it up that like obviously we want to engage the reader and make them a part. Just like, it's almost just like, again, I know Umineko came out after Higurashi, but a lot like Umineko, just because I played that first, where it's like, we really want you to be engaged, and like you, the reader, is kind of like a character in the story by reading and participating kind of thing. I can't tell if it's doing that again here, or if this is just kind of like, hey, you know, you're reading and now we're doing a thing with you. But yeah, let me read this. I'll warn you right now. It'll be a slow and painful process. Wait, it'll be a slow and painful process? Oh god, okay. That's scary. I'm personally scared. I'm personally scared. Hanyu went through it for over 100 years, and she even had to stop and give in to fate. Defeating Takano's conviction will not be easy. The trial of this world will put you through as much pain as Hanyu had to endure. Why is it making it sound like I'm about to be tortured on stream here? Jesus. And it's like Hanyu's been going over it for 100 years. I've almost gone over this for, I mean, we've been reading Higurashi for about a year almost. I mean, obviously not exactly. You may surrender just like Hanyu did. No, I'm never surrendering. Never back down, never surrender. After being emotionally worn down by the constant repetition of the worlds woven by countless fragments. When you feel like surrendering, you can end this game at any time. Why is it so serious all of a sudden? This is scaring me. But if you do, the worlds revolving around your friend's fate will be limited to Onikakushi through Minagoroshi. So I think it's saying through the first 7 chapters. 1 through 7. Could you imagine? I mean, I would never do this, but could you imagine, like, whatever this... I don't know what's happening here, but I turned the stream off one day, and I'm like, this is too much. Emotionally, I'm drained. We're never finishing Higurashi here. That should be very funny. It would be a very good bit if I was, to be honest. I need water. I'm gonna drink my water. But if you do, the worlds revolving around your friend's fate will be limited. Great. By forgetting about this world and uninstalling this product, you will finally accept death. Oh my god. This has to just be window dressing. This can't be like a thing for just to pull another thing that a lot of people would probably know references to, right? I wouldn't assume this as being some clever, cheeky thing of like, I mean, maybe I'm not giving Higurashi enough credit here, but I'm assuming this isn't like it's actually doing some file manipulation to pull some meta story like an Undertale or something, but it is very weird to be addressed like this, like, oh, you uninstall the product. Like, again, it's I don't even know if breaking the fourth wall is the correct term for what this is technically, but whatever. I'm talking a lot and not reading a lot. By forgetting about this world and uninstalling this product, you will finally accept death, just like Rika did. That's my final cough, I promise. Your ideal June 1983 can be created by putting together 50 fragments that are scattered all over this world. To connect these fragments together, you will need the right ones. There are 50 of them, which may be dizzying. However, this world isn't that merciless. To ease your pain, there will be a little help for you. When you choose the wrong pieces, your only ally here will give you a sign that it's not yet time to put those fragments together. What? I lied. I'm coughing more. As long as the sign remains, you won't be able to connect them. You might as well go look for different ones. After you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together earlier. After you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together. I'm getting, like, the feeling I get when I look at, like, an IKEA furniture instruction booklet, where I'm looking at it, and for some reason, like I'm reading the words or the diagrams on the page, but then they're not, like, connecting the synapses in my brain are not, like, registering everything because I'm a big dumb. When that happens, she'll let you know. Let's put those fragments together. Then you'll be able to join the other ones too. When you connect all 50, they'll become one big fragment. There, you'll find your ideal June 1983. What if my ideal June 1983 just included visit after visit after visit at Angel Mort? Just stupid. This is okay. That was a stupid thing to say. That's when the long-awaited Matsuri. Why do I have so much trouble saying this one? Matsuri Bayashi will begin. Before you peek at each fragment, why don't you line up all 50 of them first? Most of them require other fragments, so there are only a few you can actually look at. Let's try to find those first. To see the conditions for connecting fragments, just point the cursor at them. Oh no, this is... Okay, it's actually making me do a thing. I'm actually gonna have to... Okay. I'm now officially confirmed... I'm, like, officially convinced I'm actually having to do a thing, aren't I? To see the conditions for connecting fragments, just point the cursor at them. To see... Before anything else, let's find the ones you can look at without any conditions. This will be an extremely long and difficult trial. This will be an extreme... do I need to save for safety? I've now slipped to... I've now slipped from confusion to... a panic. Let me tell you again. Hanyu challenged this for over 100 years and gave up on it. But we all know I'm better than Hanyu. Let's be real. If you believe in miracles in the same way your friends do, even if you don't live in the world where they live, if you believe in them, welcome. Welcome to the world of Higurashi, Chapter 8, Matsuri Bayashi. In this world, you'll be tested to see if you believe in the world that Rika and the others believed in. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their strength. The June 1983, created by Takano, is nearly indomitable. She's gathered many people whose powers are beyond the average person to her side, her backers being at the center of national authority. This makes me feel like this is not a task I should be tackling on a Tuesday. This feels like... I don't know what the extent of this is going to be, but again, can't stress this enough. I'm afraid. Even if 100 dice all rolled ones, there wouldn't even be a chance to defeat her. Speaking of things all landing on one thing, I don't know if anyone else is playing the new, like, Pokemon TCG mobile game that's been out for now a couple weeks or whatever. As someone who uses partly a water deck, it's so fucking true. Like, this only reminded me because of the 100 dice is all rolled ones thing. Every time I use the fucking Misty supporter card, I'm like, all right, let's get some water energy onto the board. Let's get some Pokemon with some water energy. My Lapras really needs some water energy. It's like a card that immediately, like, if it goes heads, you get an energy, and you can keep flipping until you get tails. I say 90% of the time, I fail the 50% chance first go. I get tails. I swear. And then my opponent uses the card whenever, they get like 17 water energies. 17 heads in a row. You try to use the card, tails. You're done. Get out of here. You know? It's insane. Anyway, I digress. I'm taking up my 2 hours with just fucking nonsense. In other words, a miracle is the only way forward. A miracle happens only when everyone combines their strength. And you are one of them. I'm one of them. Are you ready? No, I'm not. I'm more than ready. That's not my words. The key to a long journey is not to pressure yourself too hard. Well, let's take it at a light pace. I'll work while drinking my usual wine. Oh, shit. I should have had something to drink like that. Shall we begin? We have all the time in this world. I don't have all the time in the world, though. What? I'm so confused. I don't know. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. I gotta focus up. You have obtained new fragments. Great. Oh, what is all this? This is like, this is just like the equivalent of like, I think modern games are better at of avoiding this at this point, but like, it's like when you play like a game for like 10 or 15 or 20 hours or however many hours, and then like you've reached the final stretch, and then you're like required to do a completely different game mechanic, or the final boss is like a game mechanic that's like, here's a brand new thing to learn or overcome, like something completely different than the last million hours you've been playing, and it sucks. It's like a mechanic that sucks, and you're like, why is this final stretch a thing that sucks, and why do I have to do it? That's what's happening here, right? I don't know why I feel the need to create another save slot, but we're gonna do that. So what am I doing here? What is happening? What is this? What is this? What is this UI? What am I looking at? There are 7 pages of things. This could just be, again, I'm ignorant because I don't know what's happening, but this could just be super fancy window dressing for just click through all the scenes and then you're fine. It's just, for some reason, the game maybe potentially just wanted you to see things in a weird way. Like, I don't know. Okay, so these purple screens are saying they need stuff. But it could just be that you just need to then see. Again, it could just be as simple as you just have to click through things. I don't know. What happens if I try clicking it? This fragment can't be connected yet. Okay, so we do get a message. Oh! Well, that doesn't look great. What happens if I click it again? Why am I panicking that it looks like it's fractured, like you fucked up? Get out of here. Wait, so, ooh. Alright, I'm so panicked. I'm going back, because I don't like looking at a screen where it has, like, a mirror shattered effect on one of the boxes. That doesn't look good. Repetitive apologies are required. This fragment is required first. I feel like I need more info. I feel like the death of Satoko Hojo's aunt is required. Should I just go... This fragment is required first? Should I just go here then? I don't trust myself at all. Okay, it could just be... Okay. With the way that these little messages at the bottom are being presented, I'm going to say it looks like it wants you to create, like, it wants you to see certain events in order. Like, it basically is giving you a bunch of puzzle pieces, and then with these little hints at the bottom, it feels as if it's saying, here's the start of a thread, and then when you watch something, then whatever is revealed in that scene, that clip, then you're going to find the next one, hopefully, in it. You know what I mean? The death of Kazumi Sensei is required. The death of the damn construction site manager. Now, let's also just... This is for experiment's sake, because we created a save slot, so we're totally fine. So this one, let's just pick this one as an example. Satoshi Hojo's sister must refuse his visit at the clinic. Satoshi Hojo's sense of responsibility as big brother is required. So it's a requirement. It doesn't look as drastic as one of these, but it's saying that a requirement is. So if we click into it, is it going to say no? Bad. Yes. Okay. That's what I wanted to check and make sure. And then it gives you this. Okay. So I'm going to assume, again, maybe incorrectly, that we're going to want to start. This is so bizarre. This is so weird. On one hand, on one hand, I'm very interested by this presentation. On the other hand, I don't want to make a mistake, because I feel as if there's a way to make a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that, like, that could be a thing. Now, again, with the way this was presented, I'm going to assume that the game wants us to pick... Did these get mixed up? Did they shuffle the order when I loaded in? What is this? Fragment? I thought there was one. This fragment is required first. Dam construction. Should I be taking notes? Am I overthinking things? It's very possible. You know what? I'm gonna be on the safe side. 1 second. Let me get my video game notebook. Might not be necessary, but again, rather be safe. Okay. I got it. And if you're keeping track of the channel's lore history, the same notebook we used for ooh, it's dusty. So much dust. What the fuck? Same notebook we used for Tunic earlier this year. Also the same notebook for real heads out there. Same notebook we used for Umineko puzzles and riddles and final, you know, things. So maybe it's good that I got this, because I'm looking at a page right now and it says like bullshit episode 8, and then I see Shannon and Cannon's name, and then I have a bunch of other names here. Natsui. I have a bunch of names crossed out. Yeah, I was definitely trying to solve the final like thing, and then it goes to Tunic. So I don't use it often, this notebook, but when I do. All right, so we're gonna start a clean page. Perfect. All right, Higurashi. I don't know. Sorry, I had to stop speaking once I started writing. The thing I think might be helpful, don't know for sure, is if it says this fragment is required first, I'm gonna assume I'm gonna click in, and then this is this the only one that says first? Because I thought there was gonna be more that said this one. See, this one also says first. See, I think there are multiple starting points you can start with. But I'm going to assume we're going to click in, and it's going to give us an actual story, and it looks like Irie and Tomatake is going to be doing something. and then that's going to give, whatever happens in here is going to give us a path. So what I'm going to write is Dam construction. Operation withdrawal. And maybe God, my handwriting sucks so much ass. Okay. So and then I'm going to do a down arrow because I think this is going to be, I might be jumping the gun here, but we won't know until we try, right? I'm doing a lot of talking again, not reading, but I mean, I didn't know this was going to be sprung at us, you know what I mean? Here we go. I'm starting with this.
Yeah, 遅くなって申し訳ございません。
Sorry for being late.
今日はどういうわけか患者さんが多くて。
I had an unusually large number of patients today.
お疲れ様です、入江兄さん。
Thank you for coming, Lieutenant Colonel Irie. Tomatake stood up suddenly and saluted when he saw Irie come into the room.
そのニサというのはどうかやめてください。
Alright, stop calling me Lieutenant Colonel.
私は医者です。どうもその軍隊的な階級には馴染めません。
Just audio slightly there. Okay. I'm a doctor. I just can't get used to military ranks.
せめて所長でお願いします。
Can you call me director instead?
了解しました、入江所長。
Understood, Director Irie. Tomatake, of course, knew that Irie didn't like to be called Lieutenant Colonel, so it was something of a joke. They laughed casually together. On the other hand, Takano looked rather fed up with it. Of course she did. She couldn't stand hearing the same joke over and over and was even thinking about talking to Tomatake about it. But she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she simply never had the chance. Maybe it's because of how Tomatake pronounces it, but she keeps hearing Risa, Lieutenant Colonel in Japanese, Nisa. Interesting. Once she heard it that way, she kept hearing Irie Risa every time Tomatake said it. When Takano told Irie about it, he had a good laugh. Today was just a simple meet and greet. Tomorrow was the actual meeting. Tomatake had already arrived, but there would be more inspectors from Tokyo at the meeting, waiting to hear about the progress that had been made.
それはそうと、ダムのことで村中が盛り上がってるみたいですね。
Do you think this might get me in trouble? Here's hoping I don't get myself in trouble. But if I type into Google, no spoilers, what is Chapter 8 Higurashi? Again, I'm being very careful here. Being careful. Sorry, again, I know I'm eating into my 2 hours here. But I mean, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna find an answer. Well, I just gotta hope. Okay, so this is basically, and then I guess, well, I know I'm so backed up on YouTube stream, on like VOD streams, but if I'm doing anything completely wrong, or if there's some critical bit of information I'm missing, feel free to let me know in the YouTube comments. Again, I always hate giving directive to leave YouTube comments, but yeah. If I'm missing anything, but I want to say, you know, I'm an old man. I've got a brain. I've got some brain cells that occasionally bump into each other to create some thoughts. I think I'm thinking about this right. Click on the fragments that say this is the first one. It wants me to find whatever happens in here, link it to another thing, and then we're good. Anyway, I heard the whole village is all up in arms about the dam construction project.
それはもう
You can say that again.
村中大変な騒ぎですよ。
The village is such a mess.
私も役員として自治体の地元説明会に参加してきたのですが、土星と馬星のそれはもう賑やかな説明会となりました。
I participated in the local municipal explanation meeting as an official, but the whole thing was alive with angry shouts and profanities. After the basic Hinamizawa Dam project was announced, the village was consumed with uproar. The government retracted their plans for concessions rather early on. They made their aggressive stance clear. They didn't want the locals to take advantage of them by showing their willingness to compromise. However, that backfired horribly. Let me read this again. The government retracted their plans for concessions, right? They made their aggressive stance clear. Didn't want the locals to take advantage of them. Okay. However, that backfired horribly. As they had historical ties to land, the government's actions only made their bond stronger. Neither the government nor the locals wanted to back down. Hee hee hee.
ひなみ沢の人は気性が激しいですものね。
People from Hinamizawa are rather hot-tempered.
やっぱり鬼の血が流れてるからなのかしら。
Maybe because they're the descendants of demons.
笑い事じゃないですよ。
It's not funny.
あの説明会に夜中まで付き合わされた方の身にもなってみてください。
That wild meeting lasted all night.
それはお気の毒でしたね。
I feel your pain.
いや、本当に笑い事ではないですよ。
Really?
富武さん、
Really, it's not funny, Tomatake-san.
ダム計画はどうなってるんですか？
So, what's going on with the dam construction?
本当にこの村はダム湖に沈められてしまうんですか？
Are they really going to submerge this village?
それについては東京の方でも圧力をかけています。
Tokyo's applying the pressure to the situation too.
表向きは騒ぎになっていますが、実際の裏方ではかなり屋台骨がぐらついているはずです。
Things might seem clamorous on the surface, but in truth, the supporters behind it are wavering rather hard.
その圧力が早く効くといいんですがね。
I hope their pressure produces results soon.
村は朝から晩まで賑やかで、村人の心もこのところすさんできたように思います。
The whole village is buzzing with action from dusk to dawn, and I worry the villagers' minds are growing agitated.
診察に来るお年寄りに捕まってたっぷりと反ダム論争を聞かされる時がありますよ。
Sometimes I have to listen to my patients go on and on about their opinion on the dam construction plan. He?
付き合わなければいいのに。入江所長は人がいいから。
Why do you even listen to them? You're too nice.
そうもいきません。
I have to.
私は研究所の所長である以前に診療所の所長でもあります。
I'm a clinic director first and research center director second.
話を聞くのもケアの一環ですので。
It's part of my job to listen to them.
それはとても良いことです。
That's very nice of you.
感服いたします。
It's admirable.
私は東京の皆さんがうまく圧力をかけてくれて、いずれはダム計画を撤回してくれるものと分かっているからいいですが、
I know the people in Tokyo will call off the plan sooner or later, but the villagers don't.
村人にとっては先祖代々から住んできた土地を追い出されかねないと本当にすごい騒ぎです。
So they have to live in fear that they might be forced to leave the land where they've lived for generations.
立ち退けと言われても引っ越せるほどのお金もなく若さもなく。
Even if they're told to leave, they don't have money and a lot of them are old.
立ち退き保証金の額の釣り上げが狙いだったのかもしれないけど、急にお役所の態度が変わっちゃって全面衝突。
Maybe someone wanted an increase in the amount of compensation they'd be offered, but the government changed its mind.
こうなってしまったら穏便に決着というのは無理かもしれませんわね。
I don't think it's possible for them to come to a peaceful agreement at this point.
かつては保証金に納得して立ち退きに応じようという人たちも少しはいたんですが、
There were actually some villagers who were satisfied with that amount and were willing to leave.
御三家の園崎家が強硬意見で村人をリードしてましてね。
However, the Sonozaki family didn't want to change their stance against the issue.
国との対決姿勢を煽っているようなんです。
They're actually leading the villagers in the fight against the government.
凱旋車みたいなのがよく騒がしくしてますし、ビラやらチラシやら機関紙やらが回覧板と一緒によく回ってきますよ。
There are blaring announcement vans everywhere, and ads and flyers are attached to the circulation notices.
ここに住む人にとっては大変な問題ですからね。
It's a serious matter for them.
気持ちはわからなくもありません。
I guess I can understand.
そういう意味では思惑は多少違うかもしれませんが、そんな皆さんのためにもこのダム計画は早く撤回になるよう交渉を進めてほしいものです。
I hope the construction plan will be called off soon, for their sake.
撤回されればこの村もすぐに落ち着きのある元の村に戻るでしょうから。
Once it's called off, this village will become peaceful once again.
もちろんわかってます。
I know that, of course.
それについては東京の方で交渉を進めておりますので、もうしばらく私どもにお任せください。
Things are moving right along in Tokyo, so please give us a little more time.
東京の方で噂を聞いたんですけれど、建設省の方になかなかうまく圧力をかけられるコネクションがなくて苦労してるとか。
I've heard a rumor from Tokyo that you're having problems finding a way to pressure the Minister of Construction. Is that true?
いや
Oh,
私ごときでは詳しくは知りませんが、水面下調整がうまくいっていないのではという話も少し聞きます。
I'm not sure, but I've heard myself that they are having a little problems with some of the details. Takano had powerful people supporting her, but they didn't control all of Japan. Takano had powerful people, yes, but they didn't have, yeah. There were some things that they excelled in, but also other things that they weren't too good at. I'm rattled, dude. This game's got me rattled. Finding a way to put pressure onto the Minister of Construction fell into the latter.
冗談抜きで
In all seriousness, though,
ダムができますからここを立ち退いてくださいなんて話には本当にならないんですわよね。
we really won't be facing any requests to leave this area because of the dam, right?
もちろんです。
Of course not.
それだけは絶対に問題ありません。
I can guarantee that won't happen.
時間がかかっているだけですので、皆さんはどうかそこは任せて研究を進めてください。
It's just taking longer than we thought, that's all. So please continue your research.
穏便に済ませることができない場合は、最終的な荒領事も辞さないことで意見はまとまっておりますので。
We were told that if things can't be resolved peacefully, then we may have to use drastic measures.
荒領事とは何ですか、富武さん。
Drastic measures? What do you mean, Tomatake-san?
そこは我々の領分です。
You don't need to worry about that part,
入江所長は気にされなくて結構です。
Director Irie. It's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know,
どう
Irie.
かお任せください。
Please let us take care of it.
そうですか。
I see.
わかりました。
Okay.
よろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you for your work.
大丈夫ですわよ、入江所長。
It's fine, Director Irie.
ダム計画は絶対に撤回されますわ。
The dam construction plan will be called off.
だってそう決まっているんですもの。
It's already been decided. As Takano giggled, Tomatake laughed too. However, Irie couldn't understand what was so funny, so he felt left out. Irie only understood the meaning of those drastic measures when he examined a young boy he had never seen in the village before. Was that a hint to the next fragment where that's supposed to flow to? So it turns blue? A young boy he had never seen? Footsteps following. Satoshi Hojo. Rock candy as a treat is required. So I'm trying to see if there's like a... I'm so... The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. Results of the research on that and that are required. And that are here. These two. Like here. The truth about the Shirakawa Park incident is required. Death of Koizumi? I'm trying to now look for, is there a fragment I see that says the dam construction operation withdrawal is needed? Here is reminiscence. No, this is death of the dam construction site manager, but that's not necessarily... I mean... a conflict? A watermelon? You know what I should have Googled? Which makes maybe more sense to Google? Since I'm so... Can you fail Higurashi Chapter 8? No spoilers. What is this? Outside the series. This is not... I didn't find the thing I wanted to find. What's this? Yeah, I'm not finding what the type of answer I wanted. Also, again, I think I should just continue. I'll continue to pick ones where it says that this fragment is required first, kind of thing, and it creates like a different branch. A bat to beat her to death. Repetitive apologies. Alright, so I'm just going to create a second. God, my handwriting's so bad. It's ugly. So I assume, yeah, wasn't there a fragment that then said something about needing maybe Irie's decision or his motive to become a doctor? Maybe we get his motive to become a doctor, and then that would allow us to come here, but then we'd also need the discontinuation of Sadako Hojo's dissection plan. So then we have to find the dissection plan somewhere, maybe here? Maybe here? The fragment is required first. I'm going to, now that this turned blue, I'm going to say we probably are successful if it turns blue and it doesn't shatter like we did. As or we saw was a potential, right? Does that make sense? Here we go. Irie. Group physical exams are very meaningful for our research. Although it's only for certain age groups, we can examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. It's a perfect cover for our research center. Also, because of several arrangements, we have a monopoly on all the villagers' corpses and can perform autopsies on them too. There certainly wasn't an environment this rich in opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work of the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. I guess, if it is as basic as, like, you just have to see prior events and not make sure you don't jump certain things before you see prior things, and it does just want you to connect things like I'm kind of suggesting, the simple solution is, like, save scumming if I was actually afraid I was going to make a mistake, right? If that's actually how this is, on a gameplay-wise level, actually how this unfolds. You could just, every time you finish something, save, and then pick the next one, in case something bad happens, right? Maybe that's the solution, because I'm so afraid. So there certainly was an environment this rich an opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work on the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. The amount of data he compiled is absolutely astounding. He truly was an incredible researcher.
失礼します、所長。
Excuse me, Director.
ああ、高野さん、
Oh, Takano-san.
お疲れ様です。
Thanks for your work.
先ほど東京から残りの検査結果が郵送されてきました。
We just received the rest of the test results from Tokyo.
こちらに置きますわね。
Here they are.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
いよいよ面白くなってきましたね。
It's getting interesting, isn't it? he.
この面白さを共有できて
I'm
とて
glad.
も嬉しいですわ。
I'm glad we can share this joy. Takano-san is my assistant, who was sent from the self-defense force. But she's far from the image I have of an SDF officer. Just like our research is being concealed, maybe her identity is concealed too. I'm sure her name is an alias as well. I'm just a doctor and a researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. She's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher who's an expert on Hinamizawa syndrome. Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Irie Institute, and she should have been the director. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. They searched for a person who met the requirements, and there I was. I became the director. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on their strings. But I won't just sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I am a researcher, so of course I'm excited about that. My client's goals might be different, but I'm here out of the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome and be the first person to uncover a new mystery for mankind.
南沢症候群という寄生虫感染症がほぼ間違いなく存在するという浮かし彫りの情報はいくらでも集まるのに
We have all this data that suggests the existence of a parasite as the cause of the syndrome.
原因となる病原体が発見できないのはとても悔しいですね。
Yet we still can't find factual evidence of the culprit microbe itself.
そうですわね。
That's true.
電子顕微鏡を使えばあっさりと見つかるだろうという期待も少しはしていたもので。
I thought we'd find it easily if we used an electron microscope. Viruses are too small to see with a regular microscope, so the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. The late Dr. Takano said an electron microscope could find the cause of the disease, but it seems his theory has been proven wrong. Even Takano-san was hoping an electron microscope would find it. She was disappointed when she didn't uncover anything after all the autopsies she performed. Our research seems to be having its first snag. It has actually stalled our work for several weeks now. So we need to think about where to go from here.
となると極小の極小なのか
Which means they're either smaller than microscopic,
あるいは検体そのものに問題があるのかもしれません。
or maybe there's something wrong with the specimen itself.
と申しますと
What do you mean?
例えばですが野生のネズミの体に多数のノミが寄生していることはご存知と思います。
For example, as you know, wild mice have tons of fleas on them.
ですが ネズミの死体を調べたところでノミを見つけることはできません。
But you can't find fleas on dead mice.
宿主が死んだ時点で寄生虫であるノミの生活基盤も崩壊するからです。
That's because when the mouse dies, their habitat dies as well.
宿主が死ねば寄生虫にとってそれは地球が滅んでしまうのと同じことというわけですわね。
So if the host dies, the parasite's world will end too.
そうです。
That's right.
滅びた後の地球を調べても人類を見つけることができないのと同じです。
Just like you won't find a living human in a post-apocalyptic world.
ということは滅ぶ前の地球を調べればよいという話になりますわね。
Therefore, we just have to look into the earth before it ends, right?
そうですね。
That's true.
ただ滅ぶ前の地球には人権があります。
However, we need to think about human rights.
生きているうちに調べることは難しいでしょう。
It's hard to look into a brain while the patient is still alive. Examining a living human's brain, no matter how you sugarcoated it, that bore very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary. But we have rules and morals in this world, and we have to advance medicine within such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomies for the betterment of mankind. And we got a bit about this before. I don't think I was wrong. However, could I ever be forgiven under ideas of ethics? I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil. Whether I'm guilty or not, I have to accept it. As I reflected upon my past, I heard a voice. It was Takano-san's. It was very clear and simple, yet it struck me with surprise.
わかりました。
Understood?
滅ぶ前の地球を用意させましょう。
Let me prepare a world on the verge of death.
え？
What? I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil tempting us to accept sacrifices. I heard that devil whisper.
そんなに難しいことではありませんわ。
It's not that difficult.
南沢の住民ですでに重篤の状態で市内病院に入院しており、いつ死んでもおかしくない患者を探させるだけですもの。
I just have to find a Hinamizawa resident who is about to die. That's all.
しかしいくら余命いくばくとはいえ自らの体を生きているうちに検体に差し出される勇気のある方がいらっしゃるでしょうか。
But even if they're about to die, who would be brave enough to provide their body for research while still alive?
そんな必要はありませんわ。
Don't worry about that.
いずれ亡くなる方にほんの少し早くお休みいただくというだけの話ですわ。
If they're dying anyway, we're just going to put them to sleep a little sooner.
書類上ね。
On paper, of course. The patient would be legally declared dead even though they're still alive, and we perform an autopsy while they're still alive.
無理でしょう。
That's impossible.
第一、頭蓋を切開するような大手術となれば絶対に痕跡は残ります。
Besides, if we perform neurological surgery, we have to do a circular incision on the cranial area.
遺体を遺族の方が見られたら不審に。
Their family will notice the marks for sure.
そういうところを何とかできるのが私どもではありませんの。
That's where we come in.
山犬に至急条件を満たす患者が存在しないか市内病院を調べさせます。
I'll have the mountain dogs look for a patient in the local hospital that matches our needs immediately.
先生はお皿の前でナイフとフォークをお持ちになって待っているだけでいいんですわ。
All you have to do is wait with a knife and a fork in your hands. Damn, Irie is like, what's up with this lady?
すぐに料理をお持ちいたしますから。
I'll bring your meal right away. Nervous laughter. Mio Takano-san is my partner, there's no question about that. But I just can't trust her. It's her extremities as a researcher, which contrast largely with mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and a fork in my hands, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different, knowing what I've done in the past? I've performed lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? I've never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san is talking to Okinogi-san on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect upon my past to remember why I chose to become a doctor. See, these final sentences seem like they're the hints of like... But we're doing some testing here, right? So if I go... So it turns blue, we're good. If I go... Let's create the save spot. A save spot. Was there... So there was one that said something like... Decision that's not... Motive to become a doctor is required. So the second one here... But there's also a top one. The discontinuation of Satoko Hojo's dissection plan is required. Let me check one more place that might have the type of answer I need. Or what if I go... You're just gonna have to trust me, chat, that I'm being very careful about not hitting... things. Let me see this. Yeah, I'm bouncing around here. I'm fairly convinced that I've got the idea correct, right? That it's basically a way of presenting. They want you to see certain things before it, and then you use the hints to go through, right? So I think these first ones that we've been reading that are like, oh, this is required first. How many are there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty sure that also save scumming, for lack of a better term, does produce the type of results that we need. Does that make sense? Like, if I did fuck up, we'd be okay. Because if I save constantly. You know what I mean? I'm gonna write, so I'll write, what was the end of the... I'm gonna write what the final, like, sentence, or what, like, the thing, to give us a hint. So in my notebook thing, so dam construction operation withdraw, and that was ended with, Takano being like, Takano says construction will end. And then Irie's thing was, motive for being a doctor. Because I'm a gamer, right? Sure, I could save scum, but wouldn't it be amazing if we get this without me having to save scum? You know what I mean? Wouldn't we like that more? Or if I didn't have to look up a guide? Or if maybe something special happens if I get this all correctly? I'm gonna check one more place here, really quick. Nope, that's not what I want. Also, I'm kind of just vibing to the music here a bit. Alright, yeah, let's just click into, let's knock out all the ones that say fragment is required first, because to me, that just makes sense. So I'm gonna now write, Jiro, Tomatake, and see what we get. Also, I know it doesn't seem like we're near 2 hours, like I said, my max was, and also I've spent most of this, most of the time so far not reading, but this might be the last section we read for today, just because, depending on how long it is, obviously, because I know I said 2 hours, but that was like absolutely max cap at what I needed to stop at. A bit sooner is probably going to do us good. But like I said, I'll make up for it. I'll do, maybe if I need to, I'll look up more. I'll make sure, again, not to spoil myself, but make sure I do things correctly for Saturday's stream of Higurashi. We'll be on the up and up, and I'll make it up, and we'll do a good size stream for that. I'm just so paranoid I'm going to mess something up. I got that decision paralysis going on, you know? As long as I don't get a screen that says some other thing is needed, I think I'm fine. So we click into something, it doesn't give us the fail state looking thing, then I'm not crying behind the monitor here. The forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear. I'm sorry, Takano-san.
あら、いいのよ、気にしないで、次郎さん。
Oh.
私も土砂降りになるかもしれないことを覚悟の上で出かけたんだから。
Oh, don't be, Jiro-san. I knew it would pour, so don't worry about it. Hee hee hee. Takano-san giggled. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ending up ruining her precious day off. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamasawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel at Nokinomiya, so I asked her to go for a stroll.
いや本当に申し訳ない
It's just... I'm really sorry. Laugh, 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 laugh. She teased me for all, but only a little. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. I think I've become captivated by her. God, it would really suck if she ended up killing me somehow. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I might have used my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should think the slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say it directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. So I want to believe she's out here because she might be a little, she might be even a little bit attracted to me. God, perfect, like, female villain, you know, trope thing. I have no problem with it, like, and it kind of adds to how as fucking sadistic as we know, like, Takano is and kind of can be and stuff. But, like, it's very clear that she, and we're probably starting to see, like, background on it, but, like, the relationship between her and Tomatake, she probably completely, like, manipulated him based off this attraction thing, and so it's fun. It's not funny, but interesting now to see from his perspective. Is this our first time we're getting perspective from Tomatake? I think so. And him just be like, yeah, I was totally smitten with her. And it's like, yeah, that's probably was her plan all along. You're playing right into her trap kind of thing. And obviously we see how that all goes. So I want to believe she's out here because she might even have a bit of, why do I keep stumbling on this? She might be even a little bit attracted to me. I think I just worded weird. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after that.
二郎さんも不思議な人ね。東京ではさぞや女性にモテるでしょうに。なぜわざわざ私みたいなおかしな女に付き合ってくださるのかしら?
You're a mysterious person, Jiro-san. I bet women don't leave you alone, huh? Oh god, she's buttering him up so much. So why are you hanging out with a weirdo like me?
おかしななんてことはないよ高野さんは十分魅力的だよむしろ僕みたいな男のために貴重な休日を割いてもらったのが申し訳ないくらいだよ
A weirdo? No way. You're fascinating, Takano-san. Actually, I feel bad making you spend a day with someone like me.
確かに私はとても大切な研究のために生涯を捧げたつもりだけどそれだけじゃ人生は潤いがないもの
Of course, I've decided to devote my life to my work, but life is too dry with only that.
たまには頭を切り替えて遊ぶことも大事だしそれに異性とのコミュニケーションは脳の活性にもとてもいいんだから
I need to switch gears once in a while. Besides, communicating with the opposite sex is good for the brain. Hee hee.
僕ごときで高野さんの頭の気分転換のお役に立ててるならいいんだけどね
It's all good if I manage to help you clear your head.
あなたは私と一緒にいても気分転換にはならない
Don't you feel refreshed just being with me? She gives me an impish smile that makes my heart skip a beat. I tried hiding my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice even my ears going red.
そんなことないよ僕も高野さんと一緒に過ごせるとこうそのいろいろと気分転換になるよそれにほら高野さんに野鳥撮影のことを布教すれば僕も撮影の同志を得られるわけだしね
Of course, when I'm with you, you know, I do feel refreshed, yeah. Besides, if you learn about avian photography, I'll gain a buddy to share my hobby with. When he said that, she's probably like, fuck no, you couldn't make me at all even feign ignorance or feign interest in learning bird photography. You
もし
dork.
よかったら
I have a
次
goal.
に
I
来
have
る
a
時は
mission.
僕の古いカメラを持ってくるよ。買うと高いからね。
So next time I'll bring my old camera. It's really expensive to buy a new one, you know.
ありがとう。あなたを虜にする野鳥撮影がどれくらい楽しいのかぜひ教えていただけると嬉しいわ。ぜひ次の機会には野鳥撮影の散策にご一緒したいわね。じゃあ私自分では買わなくていいのかしら？
Thank you. I would love to learn about the avian photography that you're so intrigued by. I'm looking forward to joining you on a stroll next time you go. So, don't need to buy a camera, do I?
うん。僕のフルで少し挑戦してみて馴染めそうだったら新しいカメラを買う方がいいんじゃないかな。
No.
東京に戻ったら送るよ。
No. Try with my old camera first, and if you enjoy it, then you can buy one for yourself. I'll send it to you when I go back to Tokyo.
ありがとう。次に来てくださるときはぜひ私の写真の批評をお願いするわね。
Thank you. Then I'll have you critique my photos when you come next time.
どんな写真か楽しみだな。
Sure. I can hardly wait to see them.
きっと二郎さんみたいにはいかないわ。本当に初めてですもの。
He. They'd be nothing compared to yours. It'd be my very first time doing it, you know? While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? I can't help but think that Takano-san likes being with me. Ah, he's blinded. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, no. Taking women's flattery seriously is the mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me. Oh, he's just like me, for real.
そういえばこうして二郎さんと二人きりでゆっくりおしゃべりをするのは初めてね。
By the way, isn't this the first time we've been alone like this?
そうだね。いつも所長とか他の研究員の人とかがいたりするからね。
Yeah, you're right. Usually the director or some other research staff is around.
私あなたのことを全然知らないの。あなたが東京でどんな仕事をしているかとか今までどんなことをしてきたのかとか自衛隊ではどんな活躍をされているのかしら？
I don't know anything about you. I don't know exactly what you do in Tokyo or what you've done in the past. I wonder what you do in the self-defense force.
昔ちょっとだけ教官の真似事をしてたけどね。
I was an instructor for a while.
怪我をした時に目をやっちゃってね。普段の生活には支障はないんだけど大ごとに受け取られちゃって、それ以来は事務屋の仕事ばかりやらされてるんだよ。
But I was injured and hurt my eye. I can live life normally, but they made a big deal out of it, and ever since, all I do is desk work. Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury.
それでね、体内の広報誌を作る仕事を手伝った時にイベントの写真撮影で初めてカメラの魅力を知ったんだよ。
And when I helped PR with their magazine, I became fascinated by photography.
カメラには人を幸せにする力があるのさ。何を言ってるんだろうって思ってるだろうけど、いやこれは本当なのさ。僕はカメラに触れるようになってから日々に幸せを感じるようになったと思ってるよ。
Cameras have the power to make people happy. I bet you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's true. Since I started to take pictures, my life has been a lot happier.
カメラでどうして幸せになれるのかしら？
How can a camera make someone happy? Shut up, Takano. I know I shit on Toмотake a lot, especially early on, I think, in this series. And I'm not saying he's, like, completely supposed to be absolved of any, you know, weirdness I might feel about him as a character or whatever, but man, seeing a little bit of, like, him just being like, oh, I really like bird photography, and I got into, you know, I injured myself, and I'm just kind of a big dork, and, oh, man, I always make the mistake of women just talking and conversing with me, and I make them think, I convince myself they're into me, kind of thing. Like, it is at least slightly you do then feel bad for what ultimately ends up happening to him. At the very least, you know, I'll still shit on him a little bit, but like at the very least, it is where he's kind of just like, you're like, he probably didn't deserve what happens to him. As simple as that.
カメラというのは日々の生活を切り取って写真にして残すものなんだ。残すくらいなんだから幸せなものを写したいというのは当然だろう。
Well, a camera takes a snapshot of a moment of life. Of course, you want to capture a moment that's filled with happiness, right?
じゃあ幸せなものはどこにあるんだろうとファインダー越しに自分の周りの世界を覗いてみると
So you look for happiness through the viewfinder.
そこには今まで当たり前だと思っていたものが実はとても幸せなものだったんだと気づくことでいっぱいなんだ。
And as you search, you realize your everyday life is actually filled with happiness.
例えば路肩のアスファルトの隙間からけなげに生えている一輪のタンポポだって忙しく通り過ぎる時にはただの雑草に過ぎないけれど
For example, a dandelion sprouting from the crack of the asphalt is just a weed in a busy life.
ファインダー越しに覗いた時それは春の訪れを教えてくれる季節からの素敵な贈り物であったことに気づけるんだよ。
But when you look at it through the viewfinder, it's a gift to let you know that spring is approaching.
それを写真に収めアルバムに残す。そしてアルバムを再び開くたびにその時の幸せな気持ちが蘇ってくるんだ。
You capture it and put it in an album with every time. You capture it and put it in an album, and every time you open the album, you remember that happy feeling you had when you took the picture.
二郎さんは風景や野鳥の撮影をしながらそんな気持ちに浸っているの？
So you always feel that way when you take your pictures?
その写真が芸術的かどうかとか賞を取れるような劇的瞬間かどうかなんていう野心的なことは僕にとってあまり重要じゃないんだよ。
Sure. I don't have ambitions of taking artistic photos or capturing a drastic prize-winning moment, or dramatic, God, I cannot read tonight, dramatic prize-winning moment. That's not important to me.
僕たちが気づかない小さな幸せに気づかせてくれる。そこにこそカメラの魅力があるんだと思ってるんだ。だからそんな気持ちでこのひなみ沢をファインダーで覗けることはとても楽しくて幸せなことなんだよ。
I want those moments we don't notice, and helping us recognize those little moments of happiness is the greatest thing about cameras to me. So I'm really glad to be able to see Hinamizawa through my viewfinder. I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle with my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she is indeed interested in cameras. Spoiler alert, I don't think she is. But maybe I'm wrong. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, so I'm happy to see that this is her reaction.
ちょっと試してみるかい？
Do you want to try?
私にもできるかしら？
Do you think I can?
簡単だよ。最初はピントの合わせ方とシャッターの押し方だけ覚えれば十分さ。持ってごらん。ああ、レンズには絶対に触れちゃダメだよ。
It's easy. First, you just need to learn how to focus and press the shutter. Why don't you hold it? Oh, don't ever touch the lens though.
ブー、簡単じゃないじゃない。
Woo! This isn't easy. Hee hee. Since she seemed to show an interest in cameras. God, he's being played as like fiddle. I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. So the first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that dark little building. Since then, every time we'd meet, we ended up walking around the village with our cameras in our hands. What one little phrase would I say? He teaches her... Teaches... Takano... Cameras... Take... Pictures. That one doesn't seem like it would go to anything. That seemed like an unimportant one as far as fragments and potential. Reminisce. Is that what we did? Well, his motive of being a doctor. I'm just fascinated that this is how they chose to do this. It's like interesting and also like baffling slightly, you know? Like, I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying, like, Ryugu's family move is required. Red capsule. There's so many fragments. Am I supposed to feel like I've never watched a Marvel movie in my life, but am I supposed to feel like Doctor Strange and I see all the different fragments and timelines and then I'm like connecting things and finding the one possibility to solve everything? Is that is that what I'm doing? Seven fragments are required. Right. You would want the fragments of all the past stories. Yeah. I'm convinced I've got the right idea here. It's just gonna take making sure you don't fuck up. I'm going to, non-spoiler wise, I will research a bit more, make sure I'm understanding everything about this correctly, and that there isn't a way to really muff this up. And then when we come back onto this on Saturday, I'll make it up, we'll read more, we'll do this. I'll be learned. I'll understand what I'm doing. See, this is a red capsule. See, this just outright says a red capsule. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it's not as hard as I'm making it. A red capsule is required. Red capsule. Red capsule, the third year's curse of Ushir-sama is required. Third year curse, third sacrifice. So probably this. What do we go from here? We just work backwards. Third year's curse of Ushir-sama is required. Rika's father being marked as an opportunist. Rika's mother's suspicion is required. Rika's mother and Rika's father. Where the fuck is the father? The mother? Mother of a queen? Maybe that. Distrust? Suspicion? Where's the father? Furude. Disappointment. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. You guys gotta trust me, all right? I'm gonna. And again, I don't think it would be fun for me to just look up a guide. I'm like almost positive you could probably find like a guide of just what order to read things in. I really don't want to do that. I want to think that I have some capability, some ability to actually do minor basic things in this game. So. I just want to make sure I've got the understanding correctly that I'm not missing anything, because all in all, I don't want to miss things, right? So I'll make sure. We'll come back Saturday. It'll be a few days. What I was trying to say earlier is I'm like, unless I sped things up, which I don't necessarily want to do on the back end, is that this stream is not going to go upload up onto YouTube and publish on YouTube prior to even Saturday's stream. So by the time VOD watchers on YouTube see this stream, I'll have probably already streamed and figured out what the hell is going on Saturday. So while earlier I said, hey, let me know in the comments or something, if all things go according to plan, I'll have already known the answer. So don't even worry about that. I don't want your YouTube comments. Actually, I do want your YouTube comments. Comment something else if you care to. You could say, hey, Austin, you got this. You'll figure it out. Past Austin, you got this. Because it'll have to be past me. But now future me. But future from this point, but past from when you leave the comment. When you leave the comment, you're gonna be talking to past me. It's gonna be a past fragment. But right now, it's like a future fragment. Hopefully future me has figured this all out and is confident that he's not gonna make a mistake. And then a closed room murder will happen. I'm joking. All right, let's just save it there. Yeah, sorry for what seems like a short stream, but it is what it is. It's Tuesday. It was my first day back at work after a long break off, so I'm was playing catch up all day and never really caught up, unfortunately, on things. And then I'm frazzled because I got things I need to do tonight before tomorrow work day happens. So it's all a mess. Everything's a mess. But hopefully things will be less of a mess come Saturday. I should be streaming tomorrow night, but also with everything I just said, don't be surprised if I miss stream tomorrow. Not only just because I'll have things going on still probably, but also I'm not going to be too concerned because, as I mentioned earlier, I have quite a backlog of VODs to go up on YouTube for streams, so I will have no shortage of those, basically. So yeah, just potentially no stream Wednesday, and if no stream happens tomorrow, then there also won't be a stream on Thursday, like normal. So I will be back on then Friday night for sure. That'll be end of the week, and then like I said, Higurashi at the least on Saturday. So thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out for the hour and a half here. Probably about an hour if it was nonsense, but thanks for sticking with it regardless. And I'll see you hopefully in another Higurashi stream if this one hasn't turned you completely off of the whole thing this deep in, you know. It would be very funny if now you were like, hey, I don't want to, I'm done with this is too much. But I'd also understand.